Before we dive into today's episode, I want to share a little bit about how Michelle and I got connected. We first connected on social media, but quickly bonded over our shared motherhood journeys. Our boys, Leo and Eli, are just 2 months apart. So it's such a comfort when you can talk to someone about, being a mom, first-time mom, and share our stories, like inspirations, as well as how to balance being a mom and work. Michelle is a social media manager at Eileen Fisher, where she leads the sustainability-focused influencer collaborations and content strategy. She's also a fashion and lifestyle blogger that she has a beautiful eye on sustainable style and storytelling. So I'm really thrilled to sit down on the tiniest chairs in the house to have this conversation with Michelle, talking about parenting, our career, sustainability, as well as raising our kids to be kind and conscious human. So welcome, Michelle.
Thank you.
Can you introduce yourself a little bit and share about your journey, both as a mom and as someone working in the sustainability space?
Yeah, well, I just want to say thank you so much for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to share my story on Tiny Talks. I'm thrilled to be here with you. So, as Fiona mentioned, I am a social and influencer manager for Eileen Fisher. I've actually been in the social media and influencer space for almost a decade, which is crazy to say. I started off in hospitality, actually moved into CPG, specifically health and wellness brands, and now I'm in sustainable fashion. It was like my dream opportunity to be with Eileen Fisher, and I've been there since 2021. A little backstory: around 2017, I decided to rebrand my social media and started a blog called Soho Mini, which is still my Instagram handle today. And the reason for that was I was in this social media and influencer space. I also really enjoyed creating my own content focused around my style. And really, Soho Mini was my way of expressing that outside of, just doing the everyday work. And so that has kind of built up over time. I've been able to work with lots of different brands and exciting projects that I really believe in and are aligned with my values. I feel I have always tried to emphasize and choose to work with brands that feel aligned to me and, somewhat mirror like the sustainability, capsule wardrobing, and conscious attributes of my life. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. And I'm a mom now with Fiona. And that's probably my best title that I have.
I love it.
It's great.
That's how we kind of like bonded with each other, right?
Yeah.
I reached out to Michelle on social media, shared a little bit about like a Babymint.
Yes.
Like she immediately said, okay, let's, have a coffee together and talk about it.
Yeah.
And you all have been so supportive on this journey for me.
I really
I'm
believe
really
in it.
Grateful.
So, yeah, you're doing great work.
Thank you. So Michelle, as you've shared, right, it's, a lot of things are going on. Can you just share with us what's a typical day look like, these days, juggling like Leo, your work, as well as content creation?
Yeah, no, and I have the best example to share with you because this week was very busy. But just this past week, I had a day where I woke up early, woke the baby up. I somehow fit in a 20-minute workout before going into the office. That doesn't always happen, but I'm trying to do that more.
Impressive.
And then left the office, went straight to a small business pitch event out in Soho. And then came home and squeezed in a little more me time and did a little sauna session. But that is definitely not my everyday, but that's like the perfect way to describe like how I kind of juggle all those things. And I decided to document my whole day for TikTok. I'm trying to push myself more to, capture my everyday, especially on that platform, since that's what does well. But yeah, not every day is as exciting as that. Some days are easier to juggle all the things that we have to do as moms, as career people. And lately I've just been leaning into what feels aligned to me. And if it does, then, I want to welcome it and bring that opportunity into my life. And really, it's just leaning into what works, and not every day is the same.
Right. I feel like it's kind of like a magic power. You can now
Yes.
describe it to someone who has not experienced it.
Yes.
And even like, for 2 months, we might not have the same experience, but we're all trying our best to figure it out our way.
Yes. And that does bring comfort.
Yes. Comfort from like, how we figured out, but also talk to your friends and encourage each other.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Like earlier you shared about, after becoming a mom, you can still pursue your dream. I feel like that's really critical. As you just shared, you make time for things that matters to you. Like in a few years, you feel like I don't regret I spent time on that while also raising a good kid.
Yes, absolutely.
So, we talk about you're in the fashion industry like for a long time. So, has after becoming a mom changed like your relationship with fashion, or how you express yourself these days?
Yes, that's a great question, and absolutely, it's changed every facet of the way I view life, but especially style. And for me, I think it was a positive thing. I have never been more confident in my personal style than after I became a mom. Your body changes so much, pregnancy and then postpartum, and I had a very challenging postpartum journey, and my body fluctuated a lot. So I started to really lean into what were the pieces I was gravitating towards more, why were they giving me more confidence than others, and I just started to really kind of wear what I felt best in without any external validation. And it was a really empowering feeling. And I really believe that just because you're a mom doesn't mean you have to fit into all of a sudden one style category. I think you can be whatever style you want, dress however you want, and express yourself however makes you feel the most confident. But I'd say like my philosophy about style has always been, it's not just about elevating your look, but it actually elevates your mental health.
Right.
And for me, that is what brought some solace or peace to the postpartum journey. Like I still felt like myself because of the way I was dressing and the style and going to work and putting effort into my work outfits. I actually ended up documenting a lot of my work outfits last year through one of the hardest parts of my postpartum journey. Not intentional, but I just wanted to start creating more content around that. And it ended up being a post for Eileen Fisher. We ended up posting it. And it was like kind of just, you could see my style evolution coming through. And it's also one of the many reasons I love EF, because it's probably one of the best brands. If you are postpartum, you definitely should grab a pair of pants from Eileen Fisher, because they are so comfortable and make you feel, again, a little more put together and comfortable at the same time. But yeah, it was really a good awakening for me.
I'm like, when you walked into the door, I'm obsessed with your outfit today.
Thank you.
It's like summertime. It's all about like linen,
linen.
shirts, dress, like a pants, dress. I'm obsessed with a lot of the outfits you shared on your social media as well.
Thank you.
And I also agree that it's true. It takes a long time for a mom to feel kind of like a back to herself postpartum. Like, you probably have a different or evolving style that needs to be comfortable, like easy to move with your babies. Now, like they're toddlers. So I feel like a great combination of comfort and style is very important. So I can't wait to hear more, like to keep our conversation regarding sustainable fashion as a mom. So Michelle, I'm curious, what's one thing that motherhood had taught you about yourself that surprised you?
Yes, I would have to say that my intuition is like my superpower. Before becoming a mom, I think we all understand the idea of having that intuition, that gut feeling. And I would hear it, and I like to say now, like it was whispering to me. And I would sometimes let it in, but I second guessed it often. But after giving birth, it started screaming to me. Like it was impossible to ignore, and it has always been right, honestly. It's like a sixth sense once you become a mom, to have this really incredible, strong intuition. And you start to realize it's always been there. Like I start to think back all the moments that I'm like, oh, you know what? that was my intuition. That was my gut feeling trying to tell me, which way to go. And it's kind of a beautiful thing, and we all can tap into it. You don't have to be a mom to tap into it, but it definitely brought me to that next level. And, I let it guide me as much as possible.
That's such a beautiful and powerful thing. I think I have a similar experience. Motherhood is such a vulnerable journey. Sometimes you feel lonely, you feel like you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of the times that gut feeling, because you are a mom,
Mm-hmm.
you spend most of the time with a kid, learning about him, learning about yourself. You really have the ability, right, to make the decisions, make the best choices for your kid and your family. So I love it.
Thank you.
And so, Michelle, you've created really beautiful platforms sharing those sustainable inspirations and lifestyle. What are some of these small steps you feel like every parent can take to make their own wardrobes or their kids' wardrobes more eco-friendly?
I love this question. It feels like my Super Bowl, because this is what, I love when people ask me this kind of question. And it's not the first time. I give kind of the same couple different steps that you can take, and they're really simple. I think a lot of people, when they hear sustainability or shopping more sustainable, they get very overwhelmed, or they start to maybe feel bad about, some of the
choices they made in the past.
Exactly. And it's everyone needs to start somewhere. So my first step is just start asking questions. That's actually one of the ways I got started into capsule wardrobing and sustainability. I just started asking, who's making this? Where was it made? What is it doing for me, my community, or that community that it's coming from? And as I was getting the answers, it was kind of informing my purchasing decisions. So if you are asking questions about what you're purchasing, just taking that moment before, swiping your card or tap to pay now, you're already a sustainable shopper, because that's more than I think what a lot of people do. And we just kind of get into these loops of consumerism. So I would say that's like an easy first step. And, you'll start being more informed about your purchases. But my next piece of advice would be to read the label. Read the label on your clothing. You might be surprised at what it is that you're actually buying. For me, I tend to buy more natural fibers, especially for my son. I'd like to be informed about the chemicals that are possibly used. I try to stay away from synthetics when I can. And any dyes that are being used, especially in the clothing. I think that's something a lot of people forget about, that can affect us as well.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Especially when they're babies, they put everything in their mouths.
Exactly.
Clothes, accessories, toys. So you really need to want to be careful.
Yes, I was that crazy mom. I was spending the extra money on some of the more organic clothing, because it was just really important to me. And I would see firsthand, everything goes in their mouth. Everything is getting covered with drool and stains and stuff. And that's another good reason to read what's on the label, because you don't want to end up buying a bunch of dry clean only things as a parent. You want to know what you're committing to. And then last but not least is shop secondhand. As much as you can, when you can. A hack for me is just searching whatever it is that I want to buy, and then put secondhand at the end in Google and see what comes up, because I've been brought to sites before. And that's actually how I first found Babymint, was because I was looking for vintage clothing for Leo. So I think, it's so great to have a solution like that, and that it reminds me of the real. There's nothing out there like it, where you a source where you can try to find good quality secondhand clothing and gear for kids. So wish I knew about it my whole time before I was pregnant, or when I was pregnant. So it's great.
Awesome. Michelle, you are actually the first person to brought the real version for baby.
It's so true.
For Babymint.
So
I think that's my inspiration or aspiration, right? To try to be that destination for parents. To just go onto the Babymint website and search for secondhand gear, clothing, toys for their kids, to make more conscious and sustainable choices.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm working on it.
You're there.
besides fashion, you're also in the sustainability world for a while, working at Ellen Fisher and working with, those really conscious, sustainably focused like influencers. Has after becoming a parent yourself changed or give you a new perspective, like regarding sustainability?
Yeah, I mean, I think something that I think about a lot more is what are my individual actions and how am I, kind of walking the walk, because that's what they take in. It's what we're doing every day that's going to inform or help make the choices that once they get older, you hope that they try to make the right decisions like we did. So it definitely, plays a big factor in the way I parent and, for work as well. I think we're always thinking about different ways we can communicate sustainability to people in a way that resonates. So
Right.
I think it's all about the little everyday actions.
I agree. I also feel like sometimes when you talk about climate change, sustainability, it sounds like such a huge thing, right?
Yes.
Some people might just try to avoid that kind of like a deep, tough conversation. But I truly agree with you. We want to make sustainability a kind of like a daily inspiration or action everyone can take, right?
Yeah.
Because we believe everyone take the small steps and together we can make some kind of like impact for our future, for the kids' future.
Yeah.
So that's perfectly lined up with our next question, which is truly kind of like resonate with myself, like why I started Babymint is to create a better future for our kids. So Michelle, tell me about what kind of the world do you want Leo grows up into, and what you are doing right now to help shape that future.
Yes. I love this question too. I mean, I would say empathetic, kind, respectful, and innovative. Like those are the words I would use to what I hope to manifest the kind of world that he grows up in. And piggybacking off of, doing the small things every day, we try to show him what are the better decisions to make and do it together. This weekend, actually, we have a lot of clothes that they're not necessarily, good to sell or put secondhand. So a lot of textile waste has been kind of piling up, and we're going to go to the farmer's market and bring it to the textile waste recycling that they have. So we're doing that together as a family. We do the recycling together and we sort out the recycling. We do it a few times a day because our trash room is very close to our apartment, but we do that together with him to kind of show that like it's about taking that intention and, step to do the right thing. And I know you know this, we are outside a lot at the park all the time now. And when we're trying to be very mindful about how we show up in spaces and taking care of the places especially outdoors in the environment, obviously letting him explore and play, and he's very into the wildlife that he sees when we're out and about, and just being respectful of the spaces. So it's really about just showing them through the actions that you're actually doing. That's how they learn the best.
Love it. And especially right now, Leo and Eli are at the stage that they are curious about everything.
Yes.
Like taking them out to the nature is such a wonderful idea. Like I saw some of the video you posted how Leo is obsessed with the trees, with the birds, like
He loves the animals. Yeah.
That's awesome. And also I feel like since you started to do those like small steps on a daily basis, right? On recycling, sorting out stuff for recycle or selling donations secondhand, even though they might not remember at this age, but they are part of it, right?
Yes.
And that's part of their lifestyle they grow up into. I truly believe by doing that at an early stage, we are setting up the foundation, not only just for them, but for ourselves as a parent as well. I definitely feel like I'm more committed to this journey after becoming a parent. That's really a turning point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. And as a mom, right, we're juggling like a kid, work, everything else. How about ourselves, like Michelle? Can you share some of the stuff that, do you still save some of the little moments for yourself to be grounded or to connect with yourself as a woman beyond just being a mom?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's life-saving. You need to do something, even if it's, I know some days get crazy, even if it's 5 minutes, just taking time to yourself. For me, that could be 20 minutes going to the gym, or, maybe it's going out with my friends for a night, like taking that time, putting that plan out so that you're having a little bit of girl time, me time, and connect. Honestly, I do a lot of connecting and networking for work, and with Soho Mini and content creation, I'm constantly meeting with people or getting coffee, and that really makes me feel good. Like I feel like it's in a way prioritizing what's important to me still, and it fills my cup up at the same time, even if it's a day where maybe all I accomplished was making a styling video for Instagram or TikTok, then that still makes me feel good because it's on the path to what I want to do and my mission and my work. So yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like that also shows example too. Like Leo at a young age, mommy really spent quality time with you, but at the same time, mommy has a dream to pursue.
Yeah.
You are part of it,
Yeah.
and showing that example, I feel like has an impact on those little ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome, Michelle. Thank you so much, Michelle. I really appreciate your support and this opportunity to getting to know you more.
Thank you.